like good memories of New Year's with you and the fat cat.
Oh yeah, well, how old were we? 20 or were you at uni then or not, mate?
Maybe when I started, I think it's when we were at Peveril.
Yeah,
I
what
think it was
last year of
17,
Peveril?
18, probably maybe the first year of uni, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Can I tell you a story about uni?
yeah,
I remember, I was because obviously I got absolutely pissed for about 4 years, um, and I remember in Sheffield, Hallam, in one of the halls of residence once, I was getting absolutely hammered, and I sat down. I think I've been drinking like that 2020, you know, that fruit stuff. Basically,
yeah.
just absolutely blasted, and yeah, so it's weird telling you this actually, but I was sat down and my friends were saying, "What's up? You know, why are you crying?" And I was sort of like crying, and I was just saying, "Oh, so I haven't seen my best mate Alex for a while."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's quite sad. Like I say, I feel really bad that I kept in touch with you. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's like, yeah, I guess you just grow apart, don't you? I feel the same way. I happened to be in Holland a couple of weeks ago,
yeah,
and I met up with Greg and Rich, who you met, like you went out with them a couple of times,
yeah,
and I barely see them anymore. Like, because Greg's got a child, he's got a second one on the way. Rich is about to have a child. They live in Holland. Like, we see each other once or twice a year, and we went out, got absolutely wasted,
got what?
like
Sorry.
for the first time in a year. And I missed doing this and like seeing you guys. It's quite yeah,
What do you think it is though? Because I mean, can you hear me all right, Alex?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
For me, I find I was mentioning this, I think, when I was speaking to Simon, with the interview a week or two ago, that as the weeks ticked by and the months ticked by, I mean, obviously at university, it's kind of like you're living a separate life, well, to an extent, I suppose. But as time, I don't know about that statement, what I'm saying there. But the point is, as the weeks and months ticked by, I kind of think I found it harder and harder to pick up the phone and, for example, call yourself or call old school friends or people like that. I suppose mainly yourself, actually. I know we did, you came down to Verwood a bit, and we had one or two drinks down there a couple of times. And obviously, I saw you at your wedding, which was, well, you know, so went to your wedding, which was great. But
is that the last time we saw each other?
yeah, 2007.
Oh,
Yeah, fucking ages ago. But I just found it harder and harder to pick up the phone and call you, for example, because I'd think, shit, what have I got to say? And maybe there was a part of me where I was thinking, well, my life's going a bit fucking shit at the moment, so, you know, maybe I haven't got a lot to talk about, you know. But what was it for you?
that's not true. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a real excuse for you not picking up the phone or me not picking up the phone or whatever. And you know, I've got so my university friends. They're in all sorts of different situations, and we manage to. It's not easy, but we do see each other at least a couple of times a year, if not more. I don't know what it is like. My school friends, like so you, Ed, and Jason, I basically have lost touch with, and
Right.
you are my three best friends at school. And yeah, it's not very good. I mean, like I say, my life is hectic. Right, I've got three kids, I've got a dog, I've got a full-time job. I travel a lot with work. It's kind of full on.
Yeah. It's I mean, in many ways, I mean, this phone calls, you know, obviously, like the conversations I've had with other people, it's almost like worthwhile. You know, it's more than worthwhile, obviously, to speak to you, mate. But just to hear that in many ways, and to like hear the bit of sort of sadness or regret in your voice is, you know, it's sad, but it's good at the same time. Because there's an element of me, I think, which was thinking as time ticked by as well, you know, maybe, you know, you get into this kind of thing in my mind where I'm thinking, well, they just don't want to call me, you know, or they don't want to speak to me. And then maybe you're thinking, I don't know if you're thinking the same.
I guess maybe not to that point, but I do kind of wonder, you know, what would we talk about? Like, would it be easy to talk to you? I think the answer is yes, right? Like we know each other. We know so from the age of whatever it was, 13, 12, 13,
Yeah.
up to the age of because we kept in touch pretty well through university, didn't we?
Yeah, I'd say so.
At the age of maybe 22,
Yeah.
we were really so that's 10 years. Like we know each other really well.
Yeah.
Um, I was saying this to Greg and Rick the other week. Like you just pick up where you left off. It's like it's always a good friend. Yeah, yes, it's terrible. We haven't really spoken for 7 years, but.
Yeah. I think I mean, that's a positive, that's a, you know, it's a really positive thing to hear, actually. I imagine you still like the occasional beer?
Yeah, when I get a chance, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How is it with? I mean, how's your life changed with children?
Um, it's just it changes everything, right? So they become the priority. Like you can't be selfish in any way. You can't. It's not that you can't go out, but obviously spending time with your kids is more important than anything that you've done previously in life. So it's just completely different. And that the thing is, like, I've got three children now, and that's you do that with the first, right? That's the big change. Is as soon as you have your first child, and then afterwards, you kind of know what to expect from the others. But yeah, I mean, it's hugely rewarding,
Yeah.
but it's hard work. Yeah.
What does it mean? I mean, when your first child came out, I mean, what was the feeling or sensation?
Uh, it's a
Noah,
bit
wasn't it?
weird.
Was it Noah?
It wasn't Noah's the oldest. He's
Yeah.
six now. Um, doesn't seem like 6 years ago. I'll tell you that. Like it's gone really quickly.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Like it was a bit of yeah. So I don't think it's something you can describe, to be honest with you, until you actually have a child yourself. It's one of those things. I've spoken to other people that have kids. It's like one of the least exclusive clubs to be in, and you can't explain what it means to someone that hasn't got kids. Like it just doesn't. You can't explain what it feels like or what life is like with a child until you've experienced it. It's a bit weird.
Yeah. It's yeah. I don't know. I'm a million miles from that. But I mean, was Jen your first serious girlfriend? Would you say?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not sure what to ask on that front. Actually, I think it was
Have
just
you
as your
met her?
mum.
I remember you met her. Well, of course you were there at the wedding, but
Yeah. I
I
mean, how
didn't.
did that? Did you recall how that was at Nottingham, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I recall how I met her? Did you
Yeah,
say?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Oh
no.
yeah.
Do you recall how that kind of changed things for you, getting a girlfriend and then obviously eventually a wife?
It didn't change a lot to begin with because she moved the way we met. I don't know if I told you. She lived in the house next door,
Yeah,
and then we had dinner or whatever, and we got on really well, and it just went from there. But she just became part of my group of friends. So like all of my uni friends, like she's just part of that group basically. So in fact, she's better than I am at keeping in touch with university friends. So one of the reasons why I've been better at keeping in touch with my university friends than my school friends is because of her, because she's good at keeping in touch with them. So it's all with just one group of friends.
yeah. Do you think that? I mean, those friendships that you formed at university. When I was speaking to Jez, he mentioned that they've been very lasting ones. And funnily enough, with myself as well. I mean, the other week at the weekend, I was up in London and I saw three old uni friends. One I keep in touch with fairly often because he's up in London, so it's easy enough to see him. The other one's up in Manchester, and the other one who I was best man for is in Birmingham. Yeah, so like I was mentioning, when I was up in London and seeing these guys, I think the point I'm trying to make is that perhaps it is maybe university is more formative in in ways. I'm not sure. It's because they're in more their kind of recent past. It's perhaps a bit easier to keep in touch with them, or for the spark to just be there when you go back and see them after a year or two. But for yourself, it's obviously a little bit less in terms of time. Do you think do you think there's a difference in terms of people like Jason, Ed, and myself compared to uni friends? The times you
I think
spent together.
so. I think yes is the answer. For me, I think the reason is that it's the stage of life you're at when you meet those people. So, at school we used to hang out quite a bit, but it was literally like once a week we'd go and play football, right? And we were still living at home, and we were still, looked after by parents and everything. But then when you go to university, you're just on your own device. Like I have, these are probably the best years of my life, really, in terms of just leaving home and all the memories I have, just going out all the time, doing what I wanted when I wanted. Like those friends at university, Greg lived in the room next door to me. Like we were spending whatever it is, like some crazy amount of time, whatever it was, 60, 70% of our time basically together. Right? It's a different relationship to when you're at school.
Because you're living with them as well, essentially.
Yeah, I was living with a lot of those guys. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you've probably hit on something there, mate. Because yeah, I suppose that is it's the sheer amount of time that you're spending with these people. In a different context. I've never really, I suppose, thought like that, but it kind of does clarify some things for me. I mean, in part of this whole thing that we're doing here is, me probably trying to understand, friendships and things like that. That's and people's lives, because there's been a number of years. It's not really until I've started doing this journalism thing recently where I've kind of, I don't know, for want of a better phrase, found a bit of a calling, in the sense that it's something I get a kick out of and enjoyment out of. So I've kind of spent a lot of time thinking about, friends and how well they're doing and the nice houses they're in. You can see, we've got a rough idea. Basically, I'm in an annex on the side of a posh house in Compton, in Shawford, which I'm renting for the time being and sort of desperately trying to get out of.
Yeah.
Know me, working 9 to 5 in the admissions office at the uni, which is, an okay job. It's just, well, keeps a roof over my head. But when I look at yourself, you've a nice bed there, obviously, and things like that. I kind of like compare myself a lot to other people, or did for a long period. Did you find in any way that you were comparing yourself, or that you think about people you went to school with or uni and how their life's going compared to yours?
I don't know. Like, I'm lucky. So I'm lucky. I work fucking hard, right? So I've
Mate, you're saying you work fucking hard.
yeah. It's hard. Do I compare myself? I try not to, right? So if I think about my university friends, they're all in very different positions. There's one. I don't want to give too much detail, but there's
Sure.
one who can't basically keep a job. He's out of work. He's living with his parents. He's just had twins. So him and his wife are living with his parents. Neither of them are in work, and they've just had twins. And so that's like a really tough situation to be in. And we went up to see them. He lives in Liverpool. We went up to see them recently, and you try not to compare or like talk about money or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that everyone looks at me and probably thinks, I don't know, like they probably try and compare themselves to me and Jen and what we've got and the fact that we've. And having kids is the other thing. Like, we decided to have kids quite young. Like, so we were the youngest of any of our friends to have kids. My friends from university are just now, like in the last year or so, really starting to have kids. Some of them really struggled as well. So I'm sure they compare themselves to me and think, Alex managed to do all this or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I genuinely don't. I try not to look at any of that. But that's easy to say. I think when you've got, when I've been lucky, we didn't have problems having kids. We managed to have them when we wanted. We both work hard. Money. I mean, having kids is expensive, right? I'm not saying that money's never an issue, but it's like we've got enough to look after our kids and put food on the table and stuff.
Good.
So, but I don't know. It's a good question. Like, yeah, I try not to compare myself, and I try not to look at what other people have or don't have. But it's probably a lot easier for me because I'm very lucky.
I mean, you say a couple of questions. You say luck, but there must be an element of. I know you mentioned about the kids there, which is obviously an important thing that you're able to have them. You say luck, but there must be an element or a big part of you that thinks, "Fuck me," I'm working for this.
Yeah, definitely. Like this job that I've just taken, for example, I work really hard. I'm good at what I do. I'm lucky. Like, I kind of found my calling fairly early on. I do a technical job that supports the account managers and sales guys to sell the software.
Right. I mean, you mentioned you found your calling there, which is good to hear, but I suppose on one level, because I'm basically an evil person as well, it's kind of, when I hear people say they found their calling, actually no, I mean, thinking about it sensibly, it is very good to hear, but there's almost like a part of me, since I've started doing this, interviewing people, well, I suppose a part of me wanted to hear from somebody that they're in a well-paid job, but they fucking hate it, and therefore, by default, even though I like these guys, I'd feel better about myself. Being honest with you, mate.
It's interesting because, so I'm not driven by money at all. Like, I want to do something that I really like doing, and it challenges me and pushes me to try things before and work out my comfort zone so I can actually improve. And in my experience, there aren't actually that many people that are willing to do that. And I think that's why I'm quite successful. And like I said, I'm not, yes, I pay the bills and everything, but that isn't a factor. And I'd much rather join and do a job that I like doing and get paid well less than a job that's going to pay a lot of money that I fucking hate. I think that's quite sad in a way. Like, if someone's doing a job for the money and hates what they're doing, I'd hate to be in that position.
Well, I
I
spoke
hate it.
when I spoke to Jez, saying he is in that position. He's in a well-paid job by the but he said he'd ideally like to be in filming. I mean, I suppose a lot of people maybe have a or something like that. But I suppose two questions, mate. How satisfied are you then with your life, and which includes everything, and also if there was something else you could be doing, what would it be, or what that you would like to do?
Yeah, you're gonna hate this answer, but I couldn't be more satisfied. Like I'm quite a decisive person. Like if I want to do something, I'll go after it or do it.
That's good. That is genuinely good to hear.
Just, but
Yeah. What about?
if you don't like it, change it. That's why I'm changing jobs, right? So I can't stand people. I've been at my current company six years. It's quite a long time. And I can't stand it when people come and moan and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to leave all this stuff, shit, blah blah." I'm like, if you're that unhappy, fucking do something about it and go and find yourself another job.
What's the answer? Because I hear that all the time, mate. I suppose the answer is, or the end goal is, go and get another job. But what is it that keeps those people in that role?
Laziness.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Like I'm thinking of one guy at my work. He's been there for like 15 years.
So it's going a little bit. He's been there how long?
He just moans continuously. 15 years or something. He just moans continuously. It's like if it's that bad, do something about it.
Yeah.
Change your life. Change. Yeah,
Where did that sense of being able to do or having a desire to go out of your comfort zone, mate? Where do you think that came from with yourself?
I don't know actually. I think I was lucky in a way in that the company I joined when I left university, I couldn't have asked to join a better company as a graduate. So I've kept in touch with a lot of the guys I used to work with there. I went out to lunch with them a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying like, so the company's called QAS,
Yeah.
and I was looking because I've been looking for work. I've been looking at where they've all gone on to, and like they've done like really well. Like people have done really well that have gone through the QAS kind of graduate program and moved up into different roles. Like it was a really good company to work for. So I think that's probably where it started. Is I was lucky enough to join a company when I graduated that recognised talented people and put them into new jobs and kind of yeah allowed them to gain that experience, I guess.
I think you're totally right there, mate, because a lot of places they are. I mean, where I work, it's a job. You know, I've been employed to do a job to administer these application forms and decide whether or not someone can go on to a course and do the paperwork, etc. I think it's the same with my thinking was the same when I was at NatWest in the call centre for 2.5 years. That I sat there with my degree and I thought to myself, fucking hell, why aren't these people saying what a lovely guy I am, and why can't they just give me a break, and let me move on up, but I suppose it depends. What type of organisation it is key to how well people advance.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think I've been on lots of different trainings, and one of the training I've been on is about performance under pressure. It's like the top people are willing to just push themselves outside that comfort zone continuously, because that's how you improve. Like just continuously push yourself outside your comfort zone, because then like what was outside your comfort zone previously becomes inside your comfort zone. So you have to push yourself even harder to learn more and do more. Like the job I do in pre-sales, right? I demo software, so I demo very complex software to sometimes rooms of 30 plus people, and I'm presenting, I'm at the front of the room, everyone's staring at me, like listening to what I'm saying, asking me difficult questions. I love it though. Like it sounds crazy, but like a lot of people hate presenting or hate being the centre of attention, and I probably wouldn't have. I would. If you had asked me that question 10 years ago, I'd be like, no fucking way. Like, A, I'm not a salesperson, I hate sales. B, I don't like presenting. But, yeah.
So it's part of being in that world, and that has enabled you to become the kind of person that you are now in terms of being able to stand in front of those people.
definitely giving me confidence.
Yeah,
I was just saying, are you trying any like dating websites? I mean, there's so much technology out there now that can help with this.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
much
just
easier than it was when we were either teenagers or at university.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying. I tried Tinder.
I
And
knew
then
you were going to say that.
dagger to the heart, mate. You feel so low when you're. I don't know. I mean, I was on Plenty of Fish a minute. Desperate. God, you're not getting anywhere. I tried Match.com. I just last Christmas time got chatting to one girl. Seemed to be going quite well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Seemed to be going quite well. But then got round to do you want to go for a date, but then nothing really came of that. So you kind of think, oh shit, it's just going as bad in the digital world as it is in the real world. And Tinder's kind of a bit hit and miss really because it's a bit of a game, I think. But I had a couple of dates off of that. One in June-ish time, but nothing really came of that because she was just a real hard-nosed kind of sales mortgage broker person. I'm not that person, which is why I failed quite miserably at the sales job in the call center. And then had another date a couple of weeks ago with a girl who I'd been texting quite graphic stuff to be perfectly honest. And because you don't feel as if they're real in some ways, so you can just text what you
yeah.
want. Anyway, went for this date. It was quite nice, a cup of tea in Winchester, a bit of a walk and a beer. But then it was, I've got 3 kids and I've just been divorced within the last week. So I kind of thought, I didn't find her amazingly attractive anyway, to be perfectly honest, so nothing came of that. But they're just 2 examples where, at the moment, nothing's going brilliantly, but my kind of approach has been changed a little bit of late, which is basically to try and have more confidence.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking to the wrong person, mate. I never had that confidence. Yeah. I met Jen, like we said earlier. She's really my only long-term girlfriend, and yeah,
Yeah,
been together for 12 years now. So
that's brilliant, mate. That's, it's absolutely brilliant. Um, very, very good to hear because after a while it just gets a bit depressing on your own